here's yet another technique that's very, very popular. This time you're going to add a new element to it that's kind of neat. When you have a shot here that you can either crop to where there's an open space or you shot it to where there's an open space, you've got a great opportunity to create something very nice for a storybook wedding. Let's go ahead and start by making a selection in that kind of open area over here. All right, so let's say that this is the area right here. We'll kind of select that area right there, and let's put it up on its own layer. We'll press Command J. So look what you have basically. On that layer, you just have that square. Now, what we can do is to create like a back screened effect, we could go and change the blend mode simply from normal to screen. And you see how it just kind of back screens it there? Or you can try, but in fact, if you're not sure which layer blend you want, you can use this little keyboard shortcut. Just press, get the move tool, and then press Shift and the plus sign, plus, and you'll see as you toggle through here, there's a darker screen. There's one that's more saturated. Then you'll see some lighter screens. So you can kind of just toggle your way through the different blend modes and see if you find one you like. All right. Well, so far the one I like best is, let's go right back to it, screen. Right there, which just gives you kind of a screened effect. Now, I want to make it look like this area is kind of cut out. So we're going to go right here to the Layer Style pop-up menu and choose Inner Shadow. That'll bring up the giant Layer Style dialog box. I'll drag it over a little to this side so you can kind of see what's going on. And then we're just going to kind of lighten up the shadow a little bit. By the way, you can just reach out here and grab it and change sides. So if you want a different direction, if you want it from here or there, whatever you want. There you go. So it's kind of, you can see how it's kind of notched in. We'll just increase the size a little bit. There we go. So we've kind of notched into that area. Now you can go and add some text here. Let me go grab a text file. Here's a little text file, some song lyrics. These are the lyrics of the song that was played at their wedding. So it's the first verse. We'll just copy that into memory. And you can copy this out of a word processor, out of Microsoft Word, whatever you like. Come back, go to Photoshop, get your text tool, click, and then just hit paste. And it'll paste that text right in there. There you go. And then the font we're using there again is that one I used earlier, Grimshaw Hand ITC. I think the font cost me, it's like $29 or something. It wasn't very expensive. It's nice. It has a nice handwritten look to it. So basically, here you are laying it out. The song's in there now. What you can do is go back to this layer, and you can do a number of things to it. Of course, now that you've seen what the text looks like in there, you might want to try. I remember Multiply made it look darker, but then your text is too dark. So go highlight your text and make it white. That's a nice look, but the text might be a little too subtle for that. So let's do this. Let's go back to screen. Let's make our text black again. But this time what we're going to do is we're going to use hue and saturation. So we're going to go to this layer. I'm going to move my layers palette out of the way. We'll go choose hue and saturation. And I like that low battery warning. Nice. We're going to hit colorize. And now you can choose a tint for that area back there. So if you want to put a different tint on it to make it stand out, how about something like that? A little tint to kind of make it stand out a little bit. There you go. So you have a great way to just do a quick cut-in. And this cut-in effect is used in other ways too. In the next technique, I'll show you another way that cut-ins are used to cut one photo into another. Hey, before we leave this technique though, I've got to show you one more thing. I want to take a technique that we did earlier on this DVD and apply it to this image. All right, let's bring our layers palette back, right? Let's go ahead and dump this effect so we just have the text. All right, we're going to replicate a technique we did earlier, and this is a perfect place to do it. Let's duplicate the layer, right, and remove the color. Image adjustments, desaturate. All right, we're going to hit the layer mask icon, grab the gradient tool, make sure we've got the black to white gradient. Remember this? And we're going to click on the area we want to be color. Like that. We can go a little further, huh? Maybe a little more. There we go. So we're there in color. Then we'll go click on the photo, go to levels. Look at this. So I like where this is going, and lighten up that side. Look at that nice blend. To where it goes from color, and it softly blends to black and white. It lightens up, and there's the text. So there's another way to take a technique that we used earlier and apply it here. Now we'll go and do the other cut-in effect I talked about on the next segment, of course. With this second version of the collage, you're going to kind of make a, how do I put this, a multi-photo collage out of one photo. How's that? We're going to start off by basically lightening up this image. So let's go and we'll just go to Hue and Saturation. We'll click on the Colorize button and we'll choose a color. Not that one. Let's see what we've got here. Maybe something like this. Let's lighten it up a bit. Something interesting. See, people don't look good green. They don't generally look good blue. They don't look good purple. They look kind of good in here. Because it kind of gives a little bit of a hint of a sepia tone look to it. Okay, so part of the deal with this particular technique is, let's back it off just a little bit, is that you're playing with a couple of different tones to create that contrast that we've been talking about. Something like in there. Okay, something in that area. Now, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go in and you're going to close in on them. Okay, and you can either do a tall, thin one or a kind of a square. All right, something like that. Let's make it bigger. Something like that. So it's just them. Put them up on their own layer. We're going to move them to a new location. All right, we can actually make it bigger. Now, generally in Photoshop, you want to make things smaller. You don't make it bigger. You can make it a tiny bit bigger sometimes without causing a big problem. You know what? I think I want to crop a little closer than we did. So let's inverse and delete. There we go. Now, what you have to do to them is remove all color. So go to desaturate, so they look different. All right, and then you can either stick them at the top or something like that. And we're going to go choose from the pop-up menu down here, Inner Shadow. All right, you can have them cut in either side. We'll have them cut in this side. Actually, let's cut them in like that. So it looks like they're down there a little bit. And we'll increase the size, make it a little softer. And you can see what we've kind of done here. We have the full-length picture here, and it's got a tint and then a different tone here. Now, you could go put a slightly different tone on there if you wanted to, too. If you wanted to, you could use well, actually, what you could use is this. Command-click on the layer, and then go choose over here on Adjustment Layers, Photo Filter. And that lets you kind of warm it up or cool it off. So let's say that you wanted to cool it. You could choose a cooling filter. Whew, that's too cool. I just add a little bit of a blue tint or something like that. So again, another way to use that kind of same technique to create that contrast. It's basically the same photo, but it adds visual interest by repeating that image. Well, there you have it. Now you have a competitive advantage in the wedding photography market. If you'd like to learn more about Photoshop CS, visit our DVD training website at photoshopvideos.com. And if you'd like to learn more about joining the National Association of Photoshop Professionals, visit our website at photoshopuser.com. I'm Scott Kelby. Thanks for watching.